Welcome back to Change Your Life. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Jefferson nickel value coins, exploring their iconic design, hidden treasures, and shocking history as we reveal the top 3 most valuable and ultra-rare U.S. nickels. The coins featured in this video include 2000 Jefferson Nickel, D Mint, Denver. 1989 Jefferson Nickel, D Mint, Denver. 1984 Jefferson Nickel, D Mint, Denver. These coins are struck in copper-nickel composition and feature the classic Monticello reverse design, one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. At first glance, these nickels may appear dirty, worn, and heavily circulated, just ordinary pocket change. But don't be fooled. Certain rare mint errors, varieties, and high-grade condition examples have turned some of these seemingly common coins into collector treasures worth thousands, and in rare cases, even more, dollars today. Money bag. So before you spend that old nickel sitting in your pocket or coin jar, stick around, because you might be holding a hidden fortune in your hands. Backhand index pointing right first up. Coin number 1. A small, dull coin slides across a counter. It barely makes a sound. No one looks. No one cares. It's just 5 cents, or at least that's what it seems. But this is not just any coin. This is the 2000 Jefferson Nickel, struck in Denver, marked with a tiny D Mint mark, carrying the historic image of Monticello on its reverse. To most people, it is nothing. To the right eyes, it is a hidden story, a silent journey, and a possibility that feels almost unbelievable. It begins inside the Denver Mint. Massive machines press metal with unstoppable force. A blend of copper and nickel forms the coin, giving it strength and that familiar silver-gray color. On one side appears Thomas Jefferson, calm and composed, a face that has watched over American coinage for generations. On the reverse stands Monticello, a symbol of history, architecture, and legacy. This is not just design. This is identity. When the coin is first struck, it is perfect. Clean. Sharp. Bright. The details of Jefferson's face are clear. The steps of Monticello are crisp. The edges are strong. It shines under light, untouched by time. Packed into rolls, shipped to banks, released into the world, ready to begin a journey that will slowly transform it forever. And then, life happens. The coin moves. It passes through countless hands. It buys small things. Everyday things. A piece of candy. A quick purchase. A simple exchange that is forgotten seconds later. But with each moment, the coin changes. Quietly. Slowly. The shine fades. Tiny scratches appear. The once perfect surface begins to wear down. Years pass. The nickel becomes worn. Dirty. Heavily circulated. The edges soften. Jefferson's portrait loses its sharpness. The fine details of Monticello begin to blur. To most people, this is where the value disappears. Just an old nickel. Just 5 cents. Nothing more. But that is where most people are wrong. Because collectors see something different. They look beyond the surface. They study the details. The D Mint mark becomes important. The condition, the strike, the tiny variations, these things matter. Even a worn coin can hold secrets. A small difference in the way it was struck. A subtle imperfection. A rare survival story hidden in plain sight. Every scratch on this coin is a memory. Every worn edge is proof of its journey. It has traveled through years of American life. Through pockets, stores, cities, and moments that no one remembers, but the coin does. It carries that history silently. And in the world of coin collecting, history has value. Sometimes, unimaginable value. Imagine holding it now. A worn 2000 D Jefferson nickel. It doesn't shine like it once did. It looks ordinary. But you turn it slowly under the light. You notice the marks. The faded details. The soft edges. And suddenly, you realize, this coin has lived. It has survived. It is not just metal. It is a story you can hold in your hand. In rare cases, coins like this, because of unique features, unusual strikes, or simply their survival, can rise far beyond their face value. What looks like 5 cents can become something much greater in the eyes of collectors. Not because it is perfect, but because it is different. Because it carries something others do not. The 2000 Jefferson nickel from Denver is more than currency. It is a witness to time. A traveler through everyday life. A small, overlooked object that holds a much bigger story. And sometimes, for the right person, at the right moment, it can become more than just a coin. It can become a discovery. A realization. A quiet reminder that even the smallest things can carry the greatest surprises. So next time a nickel touches your hand, pause. Look closer. Because hidden beneath that worn surface might be more than just 5 cents. It might be a story, a history, and a possibility waiting to be seen. A small, gray coin slips from one hand to another. It barely makes a sound. No one looks. No one cares. It feels ordinary, forgettable, just another nickel lost in the noise of everyday life. But this is not just any coin. This is the 1989 Jefferson nickel, struck in Denver, carrying the small but powerful D mint mark. A coin that looks simple, but carries a journey, a story, and a hidden potential that most people will never understand. Its story begins inside the Denver Mint. Massive machines roar. Metal blanks are fed into presses that strike with incredible force. Layers of copper and nickel are fused together, creating that familiar silver-gray surface. On the front appears Thomas Jefferson, calm and steady, a face that has watched over American coins for decades. On the reverse stands Monticello, a symbol of history, power, and legacy. This coin is not just money, it is identity pressed into metal. When it leaves the mint, it is flawless. Bright. Clean. Sharp in every detail. The steps of Monticello are crisp. The edges are strong. The surface reflects light with a soft metallic glow. It is perfect, untouched by time. Packed into rolls, shipped across the country, released into circulation, ready to begin a life no one can predict. Then the journey begins. Real life. The coin moves through hands, through pockets, through stores and streets. It buys small things. Everyday things. A candy. A newspaper. A quick exchange that is forgotten in seconds. But the coin remembers. With every transaction, it changes. Slowly. Quietly. The shine begins to fade. Tiny scratches appear. The once perfect surface starts to wear. Years pass. The coin becomes something else. Worn. Dirty. Heavily circulated. The edges soften. Jefferson's face loses its sharpness. The fine lines of Monticello begin to blur. To most people, this is where the story ends. Just an old nickel. Just 5 cents. Nothing special. Nothing worth a second look. But collectors, they see differently. They look deeper. They search for the details others ignore. The D mint mark becomes a clue. A small letter that connects the coin to its origin. They study the strike. The condition. The tiny imperfections that make one coin different from another. Because in those differences, value begins to grow. Every scratch on this coin is a memory. Every worn edge is proof of survival. It has traveled through decades of American life. Through thousands of hands. Through moments that were never recorded but still exist within the metal. It is a silent witness. A quiet observer. And in that silence, there is power. Imagine holding it now. A worn 1989 D. Jefferson nickel. It does not shine like before. It looks ordinary. But you turn it under the light. You notice the faded details. The marks. The texture created by time. And suddenly, it feels different. Not heavier in weight, but heavier in meaning. In the world of coin collecting, coins like this can carry surprising value. Not because they are perfect, but because they are unique. A slightly unusual strike. A rare variation. A coin that survived when others didn't. These are the things that can transform an ordinary nickel into something far more valuable than its face value. Sometimes, far beyond what anyone expects. The 1989 Jefferson nickel from Denver is more than currency. It is a survivor of time. A piece of history that moved quietly through everyday life. A small object that holds a much bigger story. And for the right person, at the right moment, it can become more than just 5 cents. It can become a discovery. A realization. A reminder that hidden value often lives where no one thinks to look. So the next time you see a worn nickel, pause. Look closer. Because beneath that ordinary surface, there may be a story waiting. A history waiting. And maybe, just maybe, a value waiting to be discovered. A small, faded coin rolls slowly across a wooden table, then stops. No one reaches for it. No one notices. It looks tired. Worn. Almost forgotten. Just another nickel in a world full of loose change. But this is not just any coin. This is the 1984 Jefferson nickel, struck in Denver, carrying the quiet but powerful D Mint mark. A coin that seems ordinary, but carries a long, silent journey filled with history, movement, and hidden potential. Its story begins deep inside the Denver Mint. A place where metal meets pressure, and pressure creates legacy. Sheets of copper and nickel are cut into blanks, then struck with force so strong it reshapes metal forever. On one side appears Thomas Jefferson, calm, steady, unchanging. On the reverse stands Monticello, a symbol of knowledge, design, and American history. This coin is not just currency, it is a message stamped into time. When it first leaves the mint, it is perfect. Bright. Smooth. Sharp in every detail. The steps of Monticello are crisp. The rim is strong. The surface reflects light like polished metal. It looks alive. Untouched. Untraveled. Packed into rolls, sent across the country, and released into circulation, ready to begin a journey that will slowly transform it forever. Then comes life. Real life. The coin begins to move. It slips into pockets. Falls into registers. Slides across counters. It buys small things. Everyday things. A sweet. A newspaper. A quick purchase that no one remembers. But the coin remembers. Every hand it touches leaves a mark. Every surface it meets adds a scratch. Slowly, quietly, it begins to change. The shine fades. Tiny lines appear. The once perfect surface becomes rough. Years pass. The coin becomes worn. Dirty. Heavily circulated. The edges soften. Jefferson's face begins to lose its sharpness. The details of Monticello start to blur. To most people, this is where the value disappears. Just an old nickel. Just 5 cents. Nothing more. But that is where the real story begins. Because collectors see something different. They don't see damage, they see history. They don't see wear, they see survival. The D Mint mark becomes important. A tiny letter, but full of meaning. It tells where the coin was born. It connects it to a place, a moment, a process that cannot be repeated. Every scratch on this coin is a memory. Every worn edge is proof that it has lived through decades of movement. It has traveled through countless hands, through stores, streets, and moments that were never recorded. It is a silent witness to everyday life. And that silence carries value. Imagine holding it now. A worn 1984 D Jefferson nickel. It doesn't shine. It doesn't stand out. But when you turn it under the light, something changes. You begin to see the story. The marks. The faded lines. The texture of time itself. It feels different. Not just metal, but meaning. In the world of coin collecting, coins like this can carry surprising and sometimes shocking value. Not because they are perfect, but because they are unique. A slight variation. A different strike. A coin that survived when others didn't. These are the details that can turn an ordinary nickel into something far greater than its face value. Something collectors search for, something rare, something powerful. The 1984 Jefferson nickel from Denver is more than just 5 cents. It is a survivor. A traveler. A piece of history that moved quietly through decades of life. It holds a story that cannot be copied. A journey that cannot be repeated. And for the right person, at the right time, it can become more than just a coin. It can become a discovery. A hidden opportunity. A reminder that even the smallest things can carry the greatest surprises. So the next time a nickel touches your hand, pause. Don't rush. Don't ignore it. Look closer. Because beneath that worn, dirty surface, there might be more than just a coin. There might be history. There might be rarity. And maybe, just maybe, there might be a value waiting to change everything.